whiskey lovers, welcome once more in Mark's Whiskey Basement, and this rambling is a special one. As you can see, today we will be talking about Auchentoshan. Now, I have to admit I have a soft spot for Auchentoshan. As you can see, I've got quite the collection. There is a reason for that, but let me first tell you about Auchentoshan, because Auchentoshan is a distillery that can be found at the foot of the Kilpatrick Hills, just north of Glasgow, so we are obviously in the lowlands. It's no secret that I have a soft spot for it, because I even have a website, a dedicated website, aptly named Toshan Man. It is true, I admit, I confess, I love Auchentoshan, I collect Auchentoshan. Auchentoshan is absolutely wonderful. Now, many connoisseurs out there will be raising their eyebrows now saying, Auchentoshan? Wonderful? Collection? Mark? Are you serious? Yes, I am. 3 reasons. Now, first of all, when I started drinking whiskey about 10 years ago, I didn't really think about it. I just enjoyed my dram like everybody else does. But when a couple of years ago I got the 12-year-old from some friends for my birthday, it was the Auchentoshan that made me decide I want to find out everything there is to know about single malt whiskey. So you could say that Auchentoshan is my first big love in whiskey. Now, I've had over 900 whiskies by now, and I know there are many beautiful drams out there, but Auchentoshan was my first real love in whiskey. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that Auchentoshan, being a lowland whiskey, being light-bodied, easygoing, it is often neglected. It is one of the more underrated whiskies, and hence a bit of an underdog, and I've always had a soft spot for underdogs. And then lastly, there are those connoisseurs who say that if a lowland whiskey is feminine, it's not really, it's not really a whiskey now, is it? I mean, it's technically a whiskey, but come on, let's face it, it's not really. They are so wrong. Auchentoshan has, truth be told, some very easygoing, some light aperitif style, feminine, light-bodied, fragrant whiskies, but they have quite the beauties as well. Yes, they do, and I have been fortunate enough to find some of these. For example, the 1973 sherry cask. That is, that's just enough said. I mean, the 1965, the 40-year-old that I was able to buy at the Whiskey Festival here in Ghent a couple of months ago is just brilliant. And then I've had a sip of the 50-year-old, the cask 479, and that was, oh my God, there is a God. Yes, Auchentoshan is a top dram. So, let's put the record straight, Auchentoshan is top. Alright, here we go. Now, when you hear the word Auchentoshan, you might think, that sounds a bit Japanese. It's not that far from the truth. Well, it is, because obviously Auchentoshan is Gaelic, meaning corner of the field. When the distillery was founded in 1823, it was situated on the corner of a field of the farm in Auchentoshan. But the Japanese angle is in the fact that Morrison Bowmore Distillers, the company that is responsible for these beauties and also the beauties at Glengarry and Bowmore, they became part of the Suntory Group, which is obviously the Japanese group containing, amongst others, the Yamazaki Distillery, since 1994. So basically they are somewhat in Japanese hands, but that's as far as the Japanese angle goes. Now, onto the whiskey at hand. In the core range at this moment, one of the entry-level malts is their Classic. It's a very young, very easy-going whiskey. It's a typical aperitif whiskey. It's a summer dram. It's very easy-going, very easy to obtain as well. It's even sold in the supermarkets locally, so this is their entry-level whiskey. And truth be told, it's not their best. Now, it's a young whiskey. Like I said, it's ideal for when I come home from work. I pick up the kids, and I'm the guy who prepares dinner at home. My wife works in Brussels, she has to drive all the way back here, so she's in traffic jam, I prepare dinner. Now, this is the ideal dram to have while preparing dinner. It helps you relax, it helps you to create a beautiful dinner, it helps you forget the troubles of your office, etc, etc. So this is easygoing, very accessible. But it lacks a bit character, it lacks a bit of punch. So we were saying to Auchentoshan, Jeremy Stevens for example, we were telling him, Jeremy, we need the Classic, but we need it with a little more punch. And so that's exactly what they did. And in 2011, they came up with the Auchentoshan Valinch. Now the Valinch is the same young whiskey, the same approachable whiskey, but at a cask strength of 57.5% alcohol by volume. So this is pretty strong. Now the word Valinch is easily explained. The Valinch is the copper pipette that the distillers use to draw whiskey from the cask, to take cask samples. And even I got to use the Valinch when I bottled my own Auchentoshan at the distillery from their cask that's available there in the visitor centre. So the Valinch is used to draw whiskey straight from the cask, and that's where the name comes from. I suggest we give the Valinch a try. So like I said, it is bottled at 57.5 ABV, which is quite punchy, of course. It's a limited edition, but I have it from inside sources that they plan to release a Valinch edition every year. So that's the good news. Anyway, this Valinch, as you can see, has a full golden, well, no, almost, a light golden to full golden color. It beats beautifully. The tears are rather, well, they're not slow, but they're not fast either. So this is medium bodied, not really light bodied. So this is something to look forward to. The nose is, you wouldn't say that it is cask strength, because this is not, it's not burning your nostrils or anything. My nose is not being numbed by the alcohol. It's no anesthetic at all. It's still very approachable and soft. I've got some sweet vanilla, like we're used to from young Auchentoshan, of course, with a touch of citrus, some fresh barley, and I would describe the nose as creme brulee. Nice. The attack. It's quite peppery upon arrival. White pepper, loads of it. But then it is immediately followed by this soft, creamy liquid that completely coats your mouth, but it also warms your insides as you swallow it. It's very soothing. It makes me happy. It's a perfect summer dram. It's quaffable without water, but it's very strong. The finish is crispy like a vanilla biscuit. But let's see how this one holds up with a drop of water. Well, I wouldn't be the Toshan man if I was just going to use water from a jug. No. We will be using an Auchentoshan jug, of course. We've got quite a few in our collection. If you want to check out that collection, you should visit www.markdermul.be/ToshanMan. That's me. And be aware, I am always looking to expand my collection and to taste more Auchentoshan, of course. I've tasted quite a few, but if you have some samples of bottles that are not in my collection, please contact me. I would very much like to trade or simply buy them from you if you want to allow me to expand my knowledge about Auchentoshan. It becomes livelier now, vibrant, more. I was going to say younger, which is a strange thing to say. It's not getting any younger, but the scent becomes younger. It's obviously more lively now. Vibrant. I like it. Vanilla and citrus again, but much more youthful. It's still full-bodied though. It doesn't really lose its punch with some water. A little bit, of course, it's more accessible, and the pepper is a bit toned down. But still, it's got all the flavors that I appreciate in Auchentoshan. It's got all the vanilla, the citrus, the sweetness. This is good. And I must say, this is much better than the classic. The classic is somewhat, as I said before, easy, a bit undemanding, you know. Alright, I don't think this is wrong. A whiskey doesn't have to be demanding, but this is a bit too easygoing for me. Like I said, this is a whiskey you do not want to think about. This is a whiskey you want to enjoy while sitting on a terrace, in the garden, in the sun, or in my case, preparing dinner after work. While this one is feisty, is more full-bodied. It's like the big brother of the classic, but that is obviously the high ABV. the cask strength that is responsible for that appreciation. And it's also the first whiskey that was, if I'm not mistaken, created by my good friend Jeremy Stevens, who was at the time when I got into Auchentoshan the master distiller or the head distiller at Auchentoshan. He has since moved on to become the senior blender at Auchentoshan, so he's creating all these wonderful whiskies, not only for Auchentoshan but also for Bowmore and Glengarry. So I think it's the right man on the right place, because his first Auchentoshan creation is simply marvellous. And if you look at the price tag, in Belgium you can buy this for approximately 40 euros. That is simply amazing. I mean, the classic is like 25, this is 40. Just fork over the extra 15, get the Valinch. It is an absolutely stunning whiskey. You will enjoy it. I do. And I hope to see you again real soon, because there's a lot more Auchentoshan to talk about. And being a Toshan man, obviously, I want to promote my preferred brand, of course. So I will be back with some more Auchentoshan very soon, I promise. But that's all for this one. I hope you enjoyed the Valinch as I do. Until we meet again, may the malt be with you. Bye bye.